Hello, Cake Family. Today I am here with another student success story. So I have Anne here, and Anne is going to share with you a little bit about herself and why she wanted to become a self-employed bookkeeper. So I'm going to turn it over to Anne. And Anne, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your family, your background, and why you decided to become a self-employed bookkeeper?
Yeah, I'm happy to help just because I know there's a lot of people in the group that they're just like, "Oh, is this for real?" Like you almost think,
Hmm.
"Is this like a get rich quick scheme?" It's like,
Hmm.
it's not like that, and it's not like an MLM, which, a lot of people try and are not successful. So it's definitely like a legit career choice
Hmm.
to start this. So I'm happy to tell people my journey. So
Awesome. Great.
So I worked for a small family company for about 17 years, and I did a little bit of everything there, from secretarial work all the way up to sales. And when I got pregnant with my son, about 4 years ago now, I decided I wasn't going to go back. When I had him, I wanted to stay at home with him and enjoy him. So after I had him, my husband started a escape room business. So I helped him get that company off and running, and I did all the bookkeeping for it because I had a little bit of experience in the other business, how to do that, and not too much. I kind of just learned how I just did the tutorials through QuickBooks and just kind of figured it out from there, and just learned a lot from that. And I figured that was like on autopilot back in last fall, and then I saw your advertisement for the bookkeeping. I was like, oh, I never really even thought that you could do that online. I mean, I guess it made sense like when I read it, but I never thought of that as like a business to start for myself. So I purchased a course, told my husband I was going to start doing this on the side and start offering the same services that I offer his company, and offer to others, and it just kind of took off from there. I officially launched in December, and I have about 13 clients right now, so I'm doing pretty well.
That's fantastic.
I have like the education behind me too, kind of to back it up. Not that I feel like someone that doesn't have their master's wouldn't do super well with the CFO bookkeeping, but just saying it to someone, they're like, oh, it's impressive. And,
Yeah.
you know, we all know that school. Yeah, I mean, like, I learned more from your course than I would have ever learned from a college course. Like, let's be honest.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the schooling is great and the credentials are great to have, but nothing replaces like actually jumping out there and,
Yeah,
and doing it in the real world. And so um, that's basically what this whole program is about, supporting you during that journey. Because even though I had an accounting degree, I worked with QuickBooks for 15 years before I started my own business, and I passed my CPA exam before I started my own business. But none of that prepared me for doing it myself and doing a job in the way that business owners are actually wanting your help. Learning accounting and learning how to do that stuff is one thing, but knowing exactly what they're going to need, that's can sometimes be something different. So
right. And I feel like that's a little bit of my unique qualities, is that I've kind of been through this with my husband's business, starting it
mhm.
from scratch. I mean, we didn't know anything when we started that business. We had $15,000 and we're like, well, whatever, let's try this business and see if it works. And like we made our profit back in like 6 weeks. Like
That's fantastic.
we made our investment back in like 6 weeks, and it really took off. And then we're like, wow, like this is something that we might be good at. So let's really be careful. And then we just kind of went step by step and learned things and had to go backwards and then go forwards again. So I feel like a lot of this stuff I've been through.
Mhm.
So I can offer, especially startups and small businesses. I'll be like, oh, I've done that. I know how to do that. I've been through 5 different processors, like credit card processors. I know, like, all different booking programs, like all different. Even I use Zero for my husband's company. I don't even use
Okay,
QuickBooks. So like I've been through different accounting programs as well.
fantastic.
So I just feel like I've kind of been through it, and I have some other things to offer um, business owners, just than saying I'm going to reconcile your accounts or I'm going to like organize your transactions. It's like a lot. It's a lot more depth than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's really great about this opportunity too. You can start off with offering just basic stuff like we, teach in the course, but there are opportunities to learn more skills. So you can learn how to be a CFO. So for all of you that don't know what that is, there is another course that we basically graduate our students into to learn how to be a CFO. And we're actually just also talking about a new course and a new coaching program that will graduate our students into learning how to prepare taxes. So light, easy tax returns. So there's lots of opportunities, even if some of you in the group have some bookkeeping skills already or want to just enhance your business down the road. So
Yeah.
you can always learn.
And like honestly, in December or January, I got my first client in January. So it took me about a month to get my first client. I was like scared. I was even scared. I was thinking $299 was like too much. I'm like, oh my God, someone's gonna give me $299 to do 2 hours of work with them a month. Like I feel like I'm like robbing them. And then you provide so much value that you're like, wait, I can like get way more than $299 out of this person if I tell them to do this, this, and this. And I picked up on that very quickly. And then
Mhm.
as I gained more clients, I started quoting higher pricing and just started throwing in extra value. And then I was able to get a couple clients in the 1,000, 2,000, 3. I have a client that pays me 3,500 a month. So you can really um, up your price
Yeah.
with the different skills you can throw in there, and they appreciate it too. That's why I feel like
Yep.
my client that I make the most money with values my time the most, where he never
Mhm.
bothers me, and he always like apologizes for bothering me on off times that we plan on talking. And I'm like, you can call me whenever. Like I'm
Mhm.
very open. And that's like one of the things that I offer to my clients is the accessibility, because the
Mhm.
CPAs from every CPA that my clients have like will not get back to them. And I just say, look, you have me, I'm very accessible. You have my attention. I will answer your questions faster than any CPA can. And if I don't know the answer, I'll find out for you. So it's more of just being like that extra helping hand, instead of saying like, well, I don't know anything about taxes. I recently had one of my clients, he got like a tax bill from like last year, and he's like, I thought this was paid. So I was like, look, give it to me, I'll investigate it. And I didn't really know what it was, and I investigated it and I figured it out. And I was like, okay, like
Mhm.
it's huge for people. It's huge
Yeah,
to take that
absolutely.
extra step.
Mhm. And being able to have people to ask questions to, like in the support group, Anne and I worked really closely together on, a handful of topics and
Hmm.
questions. And it's just really helpful because, the business owners don't have this as a resource. So you may feel like, oh, well, I, I don't know what I'm doing. Why wouldn't they just figure it out instead of asking me? Well, because they A, don't have time, and B, they don't have the resources that, somebody that's going into this would have access to. So they wouldn't know who to ask to help them, and you can help them, and you can come here to ask and get your questions answered.
Absolutely, the support group has been crucial, and just especially the beginning stages where you're just like not 100% confident and you're not really sure. But once you go through these certain, like most clients are the same, they have the same issues, and once you solve it for one client, you can apply it to 3 other clients. I had a client that sold a car, and I remember you walked me through that, and that was kind of
Mhm.
like a pain. And that whole, and then I had like 2 other clients like a couple months later had the same issue, and I was like, well, I'm just going to go back to that entry on the one client's account and basically copy it, or just use it for reference to
Mhm.
solve that problem for another client, and it works perfectly. And I was like, well, this is how you learn.
Yeah, exactly. And you constantly build on that, which is great. And then once you learn it, then you can apply that to all of your clients. So
Yeah.
it's really awesome. And you don't have to know it all to branch out there and get started, because even if you think you do, there's going to be things you come across that you're not going to know anyway. So
Right. And you always, and like speaking from someone that didn't have confidence at the beginning, you always know a little bit more than them, because their focus is on their company, their product, like their business, and like this is always secondary, and they never want to deal with this end of things. And even the people that say they don't mind it, they just don't have the time for it, they still don't know how to do it. I haven't had one new client that I've gotten so far that ever reconciled their account. I'm like, is this just
yep.
like a trend? Like every client I go into, no reconciliations. And I'm like, well, they can be. So they were basically just categorizing stuff, and that was it. No double checks, no running reports, nothing. So they may think they know what they're doing, but they don't.
Mhm.
And as long as they hand the reins over to you to take over, you start to show them every day how much they really don't know about it, and that how valuable you really are.
Mhm. Yep, absolutely. Yep, it really can help them see their business in a crystal clear light as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
and the reviews help, the monthly reviews. Now, when you used to do this, you did the monthly reviews with each client?
Yeah, yeah. I usually did a monthly review, issued their statements, sent them statements, sent them a little video walkthrough of their statements as well, so they'd understand what they're looking at. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Hmm.
feel like that's been super helpful for them as well. And
Yeah.
some of them don't, some of them opt out of it. Like I'll send them my calendar link and they're just like, you know what you're doing, you're fine. And I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
if you don't want to go over it, that's fine.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely. But most of them really just look forward to having it organized, knowing it's ready if they need it, when they need to get a
hmm
loan or when they're ready to file their taxes, having it done and having it organized and knowing it's not going to take, a couple of months to get it all together because they're so behind. So,
yeah. And it's been crucial this time from like all the COVID loans
yeah,
and scared as some people might be to take on a client, like it gets so much easier. Like you just
yeah,
get the help, get the support in the groups, and then it just gets so much easier. And it's like so quickly. It's not like it takes like a year or two to get easier. Like it gets easier like immediately, and then you can start taking on more advanced clients. I really haven't spent too much money at all to advertise my services. I just feel like people are just naturally kind of gravitating toward me, which I'm super grateful for.
yes, that's awesome. So, how has your family navigated the pandemic and all that stuff? I'm sure the escape room has been closed.
We were closed from March to July, so we just opened a couple weeks ago. It'll be a month this week, and we're about at 55% what we were doing this time last year, so it's not terrible.
Hmm.
It's not great. It's not great
Yeah.
either. And my husband's been home, which has been nice, like that whole time. So I was able just to work nonstop to get all the cleanups done and take on the new clients. Because when you take on a new client, it takes a couple months to get a little acclimated with everybody and just to kind
Hmm.
of get a flow with them. So he's been great. So I've been working countless hours, but it's definitely all been worth it. And you can kind of do it however you want to. Like you can take on a couple clients if you want to. I'm just like, I was taking everybody that was coming to me. I was just like, I'm not telling anybody no. I work when my son goes to sleep, early in the morning. I'll work whenever just to get what I
Hmm.
need to done to keep growing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So your bookkeeping business, assuming, has been pretty helpful during the whole shutdown with your escape room.
Yes. Yeah. So what the money that it's great. So this was all extra. So everything that my husband's business was bringing in has been supporting us for the past 3 years. When I started this, I was like, this is going to be great for us to get out of, any debts we have, to pay off things for vacations, that kind of stuff. This was all extra. So I'm super grateful for that because I never had this opportunity before. It was always paycheck to paycheck
Yeah,
with us. And even with starting the escape room business, it was rough for the first 2 years for sure. That it was, you,
yeah. I imagine a business like that with a lot more overhead than a bookkeeping business
oh,
would
ton,
ever have. Yep.
ton. So the good thing about the bookkeeping is, yeah, the overhead's super low, and you can really make it whatever you want to be. If you want to continue to grow and continue to invest in your education, then you can reinvest it, or you can keep the profits. Because if you were just looking at the bare bones expenses of it, I mean, I was under maybe like $200 a month for just like, between the insurance and like, not
Hmm.
many expenses in there to run it. So it's definitely a low cost investment to get started compared to how fast it came back. I mean, I had it back in a couple of months. Like
Yeah, that's
it
fantastic.
yeah, it was definitely easy to recoup that for sure.
Yeah. So at 100% capacity with your escape room profits, how soon do you see your bookkeeping business meeting or exceeding those same profits for your husband's business?
Oh, I don't know. I'm nowhere near close. I'm actually pretty close. Like considering we have partners with that business, so there's four of them. So
Okay.
everything needs to be split four ways. Well, my husband owns half of it, so it's like it needs to be split. He only gets 50%.
Hmm.
So compared to what he made, I'm going to exceed what he made last year for sure. What he brought in.
Wow, that's
So
fantastic.
yeah,
Hmm.
I am going to exceed what he took home last year, which he's super supportive and like loves it. So
Yeah, no,
he's like,
it's
just keep
fun.
growing. He's like, keep growing it, do whatever you need to do because he loves staying at home with my son. Like that's like his little buddy. Like they like to do
Yeah.
stuff and they have plans and they do stuff every day. So I don't feel that horrible guilt of not spending as much time with him, because I went from, mom play dates last year, just like 5 days a week, to this year I'm just kind of like, oh, I can meet
Yeah.
you like one day next week, like to play for a
Yeah.
couple hours. But um so juggling that family life, like my husband does all the cooking too, so like I have it
Nice.
like really good. So my husband does all the cooking and the childcare right now, which is awesome. Um, and I hired a cleaning lady, which is awesome too, because I was like, wait a second, I'm not cleaning anymore if I'm going to be working like this. So,
Yep.
so it's working out. It's definitely been a change, but it's working out, I think, for the better. And then this way I could
Yeah.
focus on growing, because I was, for a minute there, I wasn't sure if I just wanted to stay at just like a couple steady clients that would just be like nice extra income. But like I got a taste of that real quick, and then I'm like, wait a second, I like making this money. I think I can
Mhm.
really do well with this, and I should just keep pushing and try to keep growing this. So
Yeah,
that's kind of
absolutely.
like where I'm at now. I'm just like kind of pushing for growth. So
Yeah, that's awesome. It's pretty much how it is for me too. You can stop at like 5 clients if you
yeah,
want to work 4 or 5 hours a week. Totally fine. You can stop there but if you do get that excitement, that drive to keep going, I feel that too, and that's kind of what happened to me, and I just kept going and kept going. And even though I do work and you work, we get to be here. We get to be home. We can put our headset down and pause our stuff and go hang out with the kids, or if we want to go
and I
do
do
something
that
in the middle
all
of the
the
day.
time. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely do. I was like, just to be able to like run upstairs like on a like bathroom break and just go hug my son and like just lay with him for a couple minutes, or just play a quick game with him for 15 minutes. It makes all the difference in
yeah,
the world than, when you're working and you put your kid in daycare. Because I did that. I have a 23-year-old. I did that with her. I worked her entire life, and I felt guilty about it all the time. And I said, if I ever have another kid, like I'm not going down that road again. Like I'm
yeah.
going to be home. So even though I am
Hmm.
working a lot now, I still feel like I see him all day long because he's here.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
exactly. What would you say to somebody or to others in the group, the new people in the group that are maybe just now looking into this? Is there any tips or advice or anything that you would like to share?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, she's probably going to ask me that. So I was like, I should get a couple of things together. Big thing is your profile picture. I know it's like, seems like so ridiculous to say that, but having a super professional profile picture really does attract people. Like I got my profile picture that I have now, I got done for my husband's escape room when we started like the franchising process with that. And I said, well, let's get professional looking pictures, so when we have a website and someone's like inquiring about us, they can see who's part of this team. And so I had that picture, and that's what I use now for everything. And I just feel like when I look at certain people's profiles and they're complaining that they're not doing so well, and I feel bad saying it to people, but like you really should just either invest $100. You could get a great photographer to take your picture for $100. Just get a couple pictures,
Hmm.
post that with your posts, put it for your profile picture around across everything, and people will take you seriously
Hmm.
for
Yeah,
sure.
and honestly, you can really just take one with your phone. I mean, if you just set it up
It's
right
true.
so it looks
With the
like a
right
nice
lighting and
headshot.
everything,
Hmm.
it's true. It's true.
Yep.
So I feel like that's a biggie, is just getting like really nice pictures. And I mean, the networking thing, everybody says, network online and your social media. It's kind of true. I felt like I found a lot of my clients just through Facebook, like mom groups. I found a couple through that way. And then also I joined a local in-person networking group for women entrepreneurs. And I got about 5 clients from there. And I only went to
Awesome.
like 2 meetings because then COVID hit. So I really didn't do much with them, but they all seemed like really nice, and everybody kind of hit it off. And I knew somebody that was in there, so she kind of brought me in the fold, and I got a lot of clients that way. So in person um, worked for me best. I did try the
Hmm.
BNI. I didn't really love the atmosphere because I felt like it was so formal and so intimidating, and then you had to do like the presentations of it and all. And I feel like that works well for a lot of people. It's not really my forte, and I really didn't feel comfortable doing it.
Hmm.
And I said, well, let me give this other one a try. And it was more of like we met for a breakfast and you just talked to individual people. It wasn't like this whole, like, everyone stand up and talk for 20 minutes. Like, it wasn't one of those things. So it felt
Yeah.
very relaxed, and you weren't like, you didn't have that pressure to sell yourself. It was more just like everybody had really cool careers. Like, the bookkeeping was probably the most boring career that was there, but everybody needed it. But that
Yeah.
that was like the one thing that everyone's like, oh, I hate doing that. They had all these like cool creative jobs, like a bakery, or
Hmm.
a food truck, or a jewelry line, or photography. Like, they had like all these like fun, but all of them were like, I have no idea how to do my books. So that worked out really well, and I felt
Yep.
like I could relate to them on multiple levels, and that really worked out. So just like networking kind of online.
Yeah.
I'm not the best at it, so I can't sit there and say like I'm this guru for sure, but
Yeah. Well, you
that's
don't
good to
have to be an expert at it. You just have to be
know.
friendly and offer help to people and make connections, and it just spirals from there.
Yeah, not to be too salesy, but
Hmm.
that's what, and that was another group where I joined Ryan Dowdy's sales group, and I feel like that gave me a lot of confidence because I was so scared to talk to people, and now I'm just like, that's like kind of my favorite part of this, is just talking
Hmm.
to the people, and then when I get to work, I'm like, I don't feel like doing this, but it's just like, but I like talking to the people and selling them on the packages and stuff. So,
Yeah.
um, and that's something I never thought that I would love doing, but I did a little bit of sales in my previous job, and I guess it came out a little bit when I started talking to people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I enjoy that part too. And I've always been real shy, not really somebody that had like a bazillion friends. And I ended up really liking that part too. But it's mostly because when we do talk to people, we are talking on a more intimate level. It's not in a huge group as a presentation. You're usually talking to one or two people and really getting to know them. So it's
Oh
not
yeah,
too.
you'll be their therapist. I'm a lot
Hmm.
of my clients' therapists. They'll
Yep.
tell me the whole life story, like things you don't even want to know, and you're like, okay, well, this is how I would handle it. So that's how it like ends up being. But it's just like that's fun too.
Yep, I've had a handful of those as well. Well, thank you so much for hopping on here and sharing your story and your journey. I'm so excited
Oh,
to
you're welcome.
hear it all, and everyone I know appreciates so much getting some insight in what it's been like for you. So,
Yeah. Yeah. If anyone wants to like message me directly and ask me any specific questions, I hope I was helpful. But, feel free to message me and ask me things. But I'm just a normal person like all of you. I
yeah,
just started this just thinking I was going to get a couple of clients, and it just really took off. So this could definitely happen for you for sure.
yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much again. I'll let you
Okay,
get
thanks
back
a
to
lot.
your work week and your kiddo.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you. Have a good day.
okay. All right, you
All right. Bye.
too. Bye.